When I typed the word freedom to search for definitions, there are two thoughts that caught my attention. The first one is from Wikipedia. Freedom generally is having the ability to act or change without constraints. A thing is free if it can change its state easily and it's not constrained in its present state. In philosophy and religion, it's associated with having free will and being without undue and unjust constraints or enslavement, and it's an idea closely related to the concept of liberty. The second one, I like it more. Freedom stands for something greater than just the right to act however I choose. It also stands for securing to everyone an equal opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The protagonist of the Free Ones, Theo, is looking for something in between: to escape slavery, help the other slaves, go back to his grandfather, and find happiness.
My last memory of the outside world was when I was 12. I was living on my granddad's farm. Then one day, my life was turned upside down. They came for me. They kidnapped me and turned me into a slave. There's lots of others in the same situation. We are their prisoners.
The story picks up years after the main character has been abducted as a child from his grandfather and taken to a remote island, making him slave to work in mines. Now adult and spent all the time underground, he sees a small yellow bird and follows it. It takes him to a weird looking glove, it's referred as gauntlet, and a note beside it.
Attach this to your hand and join us. What's that doing there?
The gauntlet is a hook. You can grapple to everything made from wood. After traversing a cave and some obstacles while following the bird, Theo finds a small village full of refugees. There he meets Lana, one of many escaped slaves and also the person who invented the gauntlet. She tells Theo that everyone is trapped on the island, but there is a way out, so she enlists your help. Of course he agrees, he wants to escape too, but there is more than meets the eye. I'm not going to spoil what happened after that, but the plot and world building are the biggest problem of the game. There is not enough. There are some story elements not developed to their fullest extent. You have to trust me on this one. And there is the romance or hint of romance between Lana and Theo. It just don't work. I'm not buying it. Both don't have enough time to develop something between them, and in the end I didn't care much about their relationship. The story moves too fast and there is no time for any significant character development, and the ending didn't have the emotional charge that should have. The world building is the other problem. You get some hints about the world outside, but nothing more, and you don't even know nothing about the life in the mines. Also, no one is looking for the escaped slaves. I actually wanted to know more, like why there are so many slaves on this island. It's a shame that the world building is not developed more. The story has a twist that you can see from far away and one additional threat. I can excuse this partially because of the 3-hour length of the game, but if the dev wanted their story to have an impact, they should try to find a way to develop it. Personally, I was a bit disappointed, but it didn't stop me enjoying the gameplay. The Free Ones is a first-person platformer. The tags on Steam you can read also parkour. Maybe, to some degree, but I don't completely agree. There are 4 things you can do in the game: run, jump, using the gauntlet, and fly in the air. There is zero combat, just soaring through the air in high speed. The jumping and running are the first thing you are taught in the tutorial. After that you are presented with the main attraction, the gauntlet. It's a hookshot. As I said, you can attach it to any piece of wood. Then you are pulled forward. While flying, you can press at any time the jump button to propel yourself. At first you can shoot 1 rope, but very quickly Lana upgrades it to 3. Later she gives you also the wings that she built that allows you to glide for a few seconds in the air. Both are restored when your feet touch a surface, and you can abuse it to some degree. Several times I managed to be on places that you're not supposed to be, but they have collision. You constantly hold the run button. There is no point of walking, you need speed to propel yourself. And this is the game. Traverse obstacles by fleeing yourself. The game excels when you are presented with situations that require using quick reflexes, the gauntlet and gliding. I won't lie, it's exhilarating when you pull off some of the tricky sections. I usually don't talk much about collectibles because I'm not a completionist, but here they are really fun and challenging to get. It's just one actually, and that's a flag, or memories as they are called in the game. I didn't get all of them, but the ones I collected ask from you to get out of your way and put yourself in danger of falling to collect one. There is no big penalty for failing, you are put back at the nearest checkpoint. When you reach your objective and do what you must do, restore power for example, You have to get back to the village. The way you do it reminds me of Bioshock Infinite. There is a rail nearby and you hook yourself and slide. But you don't just enjoy the ride, you have to avoid obstacles of course. The final rail is actually quite fun. Levels are different caves, abandoned buildings, etc. Often you will ride on top of cargo trains to use them for transport or jump from box to box on some sort of rope transport line or going down a stream, etc. The variety of obstacle/puzzles are on the verge of start being repetitive, but it's saved by the length of the game. The sound is okay, the effects are decent, maybe even stock, but they are serviceable. There are only 2 voice actors in the whole game. Because of that they have to carry on their shoulders the whole story, the emotions, the twists. And they do pretty good job with the material they have. They sound convincing and believable, but didn't manage to sell me on everything. For me, the highlight in the sound department is the music. It's minimalistic, unintrusive, and that's great. The acoustic guitar, piano and violin adds greatly to the oppressive atmosphere of the decaying island. It's not all bleak, there is a note of hope in the music. Often you hear just that, a single note from the different instruments which have some melancholy attached to them. I really like it, especially the music in the main menu. As you probably noticed, the graphics are not that great. Low poly textures and even repeating ones. Character models are also not very good. Other small issue I had were I got stuck on the terrain couple of times and once I fell through the world. Both are not a big deal because there is conveniently placed in the menu respawn option. For the most part the game has stable frame rate, but at certain places dips below 30 for 1 or 2 seconds. It's probably loading a new part of the level. At first I thought this was from my PC, but every time there is a narrow passage it happens, so I don't think the problem is on my end. It's a bit annoying, but because of the place where it happens I could let it slide. The FPS never dips anywhere else to be a big issue. What is strange to me is I find the game relaxing. Partially this is the music's fault and the soaring through the air. There were some frustrating moments, but they were entirely on my side. I see people comparing the game to A Story About My Uncle, and I won't lie, there are some similarities, but it's different enough. Also, I don't see anything wrong. It's not like they copied the whole game. I said it in the beginning of the video, but I'll say it again. Pulling in succession obstacle after obstacle using the gauntlet and the wings is exhilarating. Those are the moments when the game shines. Actually, speedrunning the game could be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, there are some rough edges that brings the game down. The problems did not make playing it unenjoyable. Nothing can beat soaring through the air in high speed, but if the game ever have a sequel, it have to improve on the story, graphics and more diverse puzzles. The free ones is total worth playing despite the rough edges.